our next guest was just 20 years old when she was involved in a horrible accident that almost cost her her life.
Lauren Doherty was walking home from a night out with some friends in North Yorkshire when she stepped out into the road and collided with an oncoming delivery van. Her injuries included a broken pelvis, a broken wrist and a broken neck, which left her paralysed from the neck down. 16
years on, Lauren has used her experience to educate others about road safety and continues to spread the message that what happened to her could happen to anyone.
Yeah, and Lauren, alongside her good friend Rebecca, join us now this morning. Good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning, ladies.
Lauren, thank you for coming in and sharing your story. Maybe we can take you back to the night of your accident. What can you tell us about that occasion?
I'd gone out into town with some friends just for a few drinks and to watch a friend's band play. I was walking home later on the next morning and stepped out in front of a delivery van. Was throwing like 30 feet on the road. And yeah, ended up with lots of injuries.
I mean, some of those injuries that we listed in the introduction, broken pelvis, broken neck, broken wrist. I mean, that's a traumatic experience to go through. What are your memories? Do you have any memories of that time?
I remember going out that night, like early on, and then the next thing I remember, I woke up in hospital 3 days later. Just to I think my mum or my dad was like the first face that I saw.
A bit of a blur, wasn't it?
But the police people who arrived on the scene, they stayed with you while the ambulance was going to arrive, and they actually didn't think that you were going to make it. Your injuries were so bad, and actually it was early in the morning and there was a postman who was out and about posting, and he had to have therapy for the trauma of witnessing the incident.
It's an extraordinarily brutal thing for you to have been through and for those people around you. How long were you in hospital?
16 months.
So 16 months.
So like 3 weeks in intensive care. I spent 8 months in Sheffield. The spinal units is like an hour away from my home.
Yeah.
So it was quite scary.
Sure. And you were also told that you would never breathe independently again. You were always going to be on a ventilator. Explain how that was working and your reaction to that as well.
I remember being told that I'd never breathe again, and I don't really like being told no or being told what to do. So I was kind of determined that I was going to be able to come off it. I think at the time that people were saying, oh, yeah, that you'll be able to do it. But now, kind of when I speak to like my mum or like my respiratory physio that looked after me then, I think, yeah, they thought that there was like no chance that I was going to be able to do it. But I still have to use it like on a night because I get really like tired and it just gives like my body a break. But I'm pretty much off it most of the time unless like overnight.
But Lauren, you're fiercely independent. You're very, very strong too. I know you lived with your mum and dad for 6 years, but now you actually live on your own too.
Yeah, I built like a purpose-built bungalow. So I'm kind of 10 minutes away from my mum and dad. I'm near all my family.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to have my own house. Kind of because when I went back to live with my mum and dad, like my youngest brother was still at home, so he was only 9. And having like 2 carers 24 hours a day, you know, living like in quite a small space, it's just a lot better to have my own house.
And your independence as well, which
Yeah,
is so key.
absolutely.
How did you come to meet Lauren and Rebecca?
My husband and I owned a complex care company for children and young adults for 8 years, and that's where we met Lauren. So we oversaw the delivery of her care, and I always, when on first meeting Lauren, always sort of asked her, what do you want to come of this? You know, what do you see happening? Because she'd, in my eyes, she'd overcome so much with her injuries, her hospital stay.
Defied all the odds, right?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that everybody deserves a focus and a purpose in life.
Correct, yeah.
And so I kind of gently persuaded, Lauren might say differently.
Twisted your arm.
Yeah, to, you know, something she always wanted to do was promote road safety, and basically kind of in the hope that no one else would ever go through what she'd been done. So that's how we met, through the care company, and after we came away from care, I continued working alongside her, because we do it on a voluntary basis, and it just grew from there, really.
I do think that's the best outcome, that you to turn something positive and try and help anybody else in the future too. So what do you do? Is it all different ages of kids? How do you do it?
Absolutely. So we started off just in a really small country primary school, my daughter's school at the time, just to test the water. I honestly, at that time, didn't know how the message was going to be received. I was very aware that Lauren's story is very overwhelming, so you have to, you know,
tailor make it depending on the age group,
and also very aware that you know, children, they're not always aware about disability. So physically, you've seen someone in a wheelchair, and alongside Lauren's story, you know, there was an element, I didn't know if it was going to be too much and overwhelm the children, but 8 years down the line, we know that's not the case. We know that even though her message is hard-hitting, that is what is needed.
Well, it's what gets it across, I think.
Absolutely. So, as I say, we started off with primary school children, and we now talk to all age groups, so sixth formers, colleges,
prisons.
We work in prisons as well.
What's it like for you, Lauren, being able to do that, being able to go and share your story and help people understand the importance of road safety?
I really enjoyed doing it, and I think that enjoy doing it. It gives me something that's like mine. It's like a job. I think I get out of it just as much. It's kind of like what people said I give to other people. It's kind of, but with like primary school children, that like we'll talk and then we'll give them a chance to ask any questions, which I think is like when you really notice like how much they've been paying attention.
And primary school children don't have a filter on them either, so the questions range from, you know,
funny to heartbreaking to
I think the most one that we always remember, the most one that had an impact, a little girl said, "In your dreams, can you walk again?" And for a primary school child to think so deeply and to consider Lauren in that way has always stayed with us, hasn't it? So.
And what are your key messages when you go in? Because I think we've all been guilty of it at times.
Very much so. You're distracted by our phones.
Distracted by your phones, you've got headphones in, or you're just even thinking of what you've got to do on a day. There are so many times, you know, when you're not concentrating properly.
So the key message is that for the younger children, it's, you know, very much hold hands with your mums and dads as they grow up, like you say, with the headphones on the phones, mobile phone usage. But also when they start to learn to drive, it's being aware as a driver about pedestrians, which obviously was the case with Lauren. And then I guess the message is decisions we make in life can have consequences, and Lauren is an example of that. But the project has grown to such that, yes, decisions we make in life have consequences, but actually the positivity to come from Lauren's story as well. There's a saying, out of adversity comes opportunity, and to me, Lauren's a shining example of that. So it's kind of, the road safety message is there, but also the story of personal resilience, and that things happen in life, but Lauren is an example that you can turn that around.
What would you like to say, Lauren, to our viewers this morning who are watching you and listening to this story?
Sorry.
We have a saying at Road Safety Talks, and that is never say never, because sometimes the impossible is possible. So I don't want to put words in Lauren's mouth, but we have that in our office, don't we?
Yeah, it's on the wall.
Seems like a very pertinent saying to
Yeah,
hold on to
and a
as well.
great reminder for everybody. And the work you're doing is absolutely amazing, especially when it's not, you know, necessarily taught in schools. So I think it's absolutely wonderful what you're doing. And thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Fantastic.
Thank
stuff.
you.
Great to meet you.
Thank
Oh, hello.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.